Welcome to the Rondo. We're back again. Another crazy week of PL football across the league. Title race, top 4 race, relegation. But anyway, man, it's your boy AA hosting, as usual. I'm joined by...
Kiko. What's funny, man? Clock and Kiko, you know what I'm saying? Back on the Rondo. Yes.
Come on. On his second appearance.
Yeah, Max Waves.
Come on.
Pleasure to be back on. Cheers, guys.
Come on, my bro.
And Marcus.
You know it's been a little while, isn't it?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Our co-host, he's back in.
That's it.
Doing what he does best. Not really, man. That's me, but he tries. He tries.
Okay.
Anyway.
This is what we're doing now.
Going today.
This is what we're doing now. Okay.
On today's show, we're going to start off with the title race, of course. So an epic game, a really good game, I'm not going to lie, between Liverpool and City. Well, for a neutral. Not too much for me. But we'll get into that, and we're going to talk about the major talking points of that game and what that means for the wider title race. We will then go into a little preview of Arsenal and City's game at the end of the month and how Arsenal are doing it as well in the title race. Then we're going to move on to the top 4 race. We're going to talk about the game between Aston Villa and Spurs today, as Villa got battered today at home. Then we're going to do our normal weekly roundup and rondos. Then we're going to finish off with a little bonus topic where we talk about, well, we'll get to it, man. I feel like I've been talking enough, so I can't bother to go through that. We've got a little bonus topic where we're going to get the whiteboards out, do the little usual. So, okay, without further ado, we've got to move into the big game today. Liverpool City, absolute title clincher. I feel like whichever team, if a team did get 3 points today, I feel like it would have been a massive statement. I feel like since it's a draw, sort of everything's still quite wide open. So let's go straight into it. What's our thoughts? Max, you start.
Yeah, I'm really, really struggling to come away with that game, sort of thinking that it's 2 points dropped. It is, because it is. Considering the injuries we've had, they started the better team.
Yeah.
We conceded, obviously, a goal first sort of 20 to 25 minutes. I'm really proud of the performance, but I can't help but just think it's 2 points dropped in this title race. I think it's the PTSD with the previous title races with City. We had the chances. We were the better team. Proud of the players, but I just come away a bit disappointed.
Yeah, no, I'm similar. Like you have to seize on those opportunities. I do feel like, City are a great side, so they did have, upper hands in elements of the game, but from about 25th minute through to the 75th, so that's a 50-minute period, we were the better team. And if you think about, I think it was about the 55th minute to the 70th minute where Anfield was rocking, to not come away with the 3 points, the chances that were missed. Hey, Luis Diaz.
No.
Luis Diaz, bro, today. Hey, man.
But everything apart from his finishing, he put on a clinic today. I thought
everything
it was
apart
unreal.
from his finishing was there, but...
That's what lets him down as well.
Yeah, it does let him down. But when you think about a player in this prime, I think Diaz is 27, 28 now. And to miss those 3 chances, big chances, wasn't really back against what we're the better team in the game. And for him to come away with 0 goals, I don't even think he had a shot on target from those chances. Mane comes away with a hat-trick.
I was literally about to say
With
Mane.
that.
I miss my guy. Because if
man.
he's going in 1v1 there and there's only one outcome, and that's the difference between a top-tier player like Diaz and a world-class player like Mane.
Yeah.
That's the
I
difference.
think realistically, you've dropped 2 points because of Luis Diaz.
Yeah.
Let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
You've dropped it because of him. And
We
you know
have.
what it was with the Diaz chances as well? It wasn't like it was a half chance, or it was like, he kind of had an angle and he could have done something. These are clear-cut chances where you have to be scoring at least one of them. And I think today just cemented where we kind of like rank him in terms of like being a winger in the Premier League. Like, he's not part of the top tier elite bunch, but he's that tier below.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
He kind of, I think someone said on Twitter actually, like, he kind of plays a bit like Garnacho. Obviously he's better and he's 28. He doesn't play like Garnacho, but is it in terms of like that sort of like, there's so much fire and talent there, but it doesn't really quite kind of it doesn't lead to those like ultimate refined goods. For him to, I don't know. Like, honestly, the one-on-one after Salah made an amazing pass, by the way. We're going to talk about him. And the chance where Nunes kind of reverses the pass back into him. Criminal.
I know.
Like, I thought the third chance was actually a little bit hard. Like, I felt like where it was kind of behind him. I don't think that was as easy as...
What, where he took a touch
Where he
and
took
then
a
Kyle
touch.
Walker caught him.
Because he just went ahead of the ball.
Bro, that's a clear-cut chance.
It's a clear-cut chance, of course. But I don't feel like it's as criminal as the other... Like, the other two are... Like, that is criminal. Like, that is criminal.
Say the first 2 chances, he gets 20 years each sentence in it, Joe. The last one was 15 years.
Fair.
It's not that much difference.
So just to kind of finish it up on Diaz, for you, is he... where does he kind of stand for Liverpool now? Is he a player that we can depend on in this sort of new generation?
No, his next development is to become that ice cold killer in front of goal. But what makes Diaz so good is also what kind of lets him down for me. So he's so tenacious, like non-stop, like Garnacho, elements of that. But he hasn't got the ability yet to calm down in front of goal and just finish it like Mane used to. And that's his next development for me. He's still probably in our best front three, but this is where he missed Jota as well. If Jota was in, that's a goal.
You're talking about development. Diaz is 27. Like,
Yeah.
he's not like he's a young footballer who's still learning his trade. Like, this is the player that you bought him at the age of 25. This is the player that you got. And do you think that he's going to be your left wing going forward, or do you feel like in the next 2-3 years you're going to have to go into the market and find someone who's a bit more clinical? Or obviously Salah probably going to be going within the next 2 years.
He's still a very, very good winger for me, but like that's what makes those world-class wingers like Mane type players that next level. It's hard to come by. You can't just... I get what you're saying. He's 27. Obviously, that development probably isn't going to come now. But he's still definitely a great option for our squad. Today, he was doing stuff to Walker that I don't see many wingers do.
Yeah, true. He gave Walker a tough time today.
And he had Rodri on the floor. He had Walker on the floor.
But for me, I think he can be in our lineup. Like, obviously, I was fuming today. But if you're actually looking at it holistically, I think he can be in our lineup. But he's not going to be a Mane or a Salah. He's going to be like the other sort of filler there. We need, probably if Salah leaves, we need to go into the market and get someone serious to kind of fill that void. I feel like Nunes has the capability actually to sort of step up and be, a top level player that we can depend on. There's still development there, but he's a bit younger. But Diaz now, I think we know what he is now. And yeah, that's unfortunate. But someone else I want to speak on is Gakpo. I thought he came on today and he had another big chance. And for me, I don't feel like he had as much outside of his chance. I feel like he kind of choked the chance passing it to Salah. I'm just interested in hearing where people think his role in Liverpool is going forward.
He's a flop signing.
Or you think he's a flop?
Yeah.
How much was he bought for? 37 million?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, he is a flop signing. He hasn't come in and really done anything for you. He hasn't contributed enough. His overall gameplay is not good enough. He scored a few goals here and there last season. This season he's been very poor. Every time I've seen him, he's not able to lead the line for you. When you've played him in other positions, he doesn't stand out. He's probably the worst attacker you have at the club.
He is the worst attacker. First,
You know what the thing is with Gakpo as well? It's like, in terms of what he was bought to be, like, say for example, if he wasn't scoring goals, but you were seeing all of like the F9 traits, he was dropping deep, going past players, finding passes and everything like that. A bit like Gabriel Jesus, you'd be like, all right, cool. He's not getting the goals, but I can see he's doing something. Yeah. He's not doing anything. He's shy. He's like, bro, the chance today, he was shy and he was awful today. Like, yeah.
Hey, easy. Well, to be fair, I don't care about him.
Usually players cut their hair and then they have a good performance. Cut his hair, he did have a good performance.
No, to be fair,
it don't make sense.
I think he's off the level of other attackers, and I do feel like we have to be honest with where he's at. I hope it can, maybe eventually work out, but as we stand, I'm similar in your camp, man. I was actually very surprised that Nunes came off for Gakpo, to be honest. I don't know what that was about. I feel like that's probably the only kind of sub that Klopp got wrong today, and element of his in-game management. But again, just lacking. But anyway, man, let's kind of move on from that. I think there's still a lot of positives from Liverpool today. So, for you guys, both Marcus and LaShawn, were there any players that you specifically were impressed with at Liverpool? Because obviously it was a good performance. We just didn't get what we want.
All right, I have to kind of. All right, cool. There's one player I've been getting onto for a little while, and he showed me something today. That was Endo.
Okay.
I think Endo had a good performance.
I've been wanting to hear this today because a couple man were moving a bit disrespectful last week about a certain Endo. You go on. You go on. You give him the credit.
You know what it is, yeah? Like, when you signed him, he wasn't your first, he wasn't your second, he wasn't your third. Maybe he was your fourth choice or something like that. So I've never rated him. I haven't respected him. I haven't been taking in what he was doing.
His debut was terrible.
His debut was terrible.
Started off slow.
Everything.
Yeah, he started
But
off
then
slow.
today, I was watching the game, and then I'm just seeing Liverpool like retain possession. Like when City are trying to get forward, I'm seeing this person break up play and then find the right pass, distribute passes. So then I looked closer at my screen and I saw number 3, and I said, "Wait, is that Endo?" But no, he was very, very good today. Like, to be honest, like he probably had a better performance than Rodri. It doesn't mean anything. Like Rodri's still the better player, but he did very, very well today. I'll give him that.
Thank you. That's all right, because I saw Toby last week. He tried to give Endo some prop. I mean, I think he did, go a bit far with the star signing. But he was even just trying to say he feel like he's one of the most underrated players this season. Trying to give him some credit. And everyone in the studios piling up on him. I thought Endo, like he has been, another fantastic performance. He's been so consistent, cleaning it up. I'm not going to lie. KDB, Foden, slightly got pocketed today by Endo. Is that what we're saying? Because that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing. No, he slightly did. He took the ball off KDB in transition, which I was even surprised at. A couple of times, nicked off Foden a couple of times. Now, obviously, I feel like it was the team in totality, but I think, quality performance in this. There's been a few from him.
Yeah, I think City started off the better team, and then Endo and Liverpool as a team sort of grew into it, and you saw Foden and De Bruyne get controlled more. Obviously, De Bruyne came off, which helped us a little bit. But I actually want to speak about McAllister's performance. Oh. I thought he was probably the best midfielder on the pitch. On a pitch full of treble winners, world-class midfielders, I thought he was the best midfielder, standout player. He's probably been our best player the past few weeks.
Yeah.
And I just think he was actually made for this City team. I can't believe Pep didn't actually snap him up before we got there. I feel like he's very similar to Gundogan.
Yeah, he is very similar, actually.
Profile is very similar. But we're just so lucky that we got him for the price, and he's doing so well.
5 million.
He's doing amazing at the minute.
Why do you feel like McAllister's why do you think it's changed for him in recent weeks and he's become one of our best players? Is it the move from number 6 to
that
number
definitely
8?
helps. But also, Endo's kind of, I hate the word, but like kind of unlocked him, because obviously McAllister's deficiencies are off the ball and Endo's strengths are off the ball. So he helps complement him very well. And now we're seeing what he can do on the ball, which is his main strength.
Yeah, he was real nice today, man. He was real nice. Yeah, we do need to move on from Liverpool. We have been on them for a while. But I just want to, last thing, shout out our academy boys, Kwanzaa and Bradley. I thought they stepped up today and put in a real solid performance. And
I think Kwanzaa more than Bradley.
Yeah. But I'm not sure, like, honestly, like, I do feel like both of them had like a lot of talent. But what Klopp's doing with some of our academy boys this season, I just can't believe it. Like,
that's what I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about the title race as a whole. And I know you came in and you said you were disappointed by the result. But if you think about the team Liverpool fielded today, you're missing Trent. Salah didn't start. You didn't have Jones, no Jota, no Konate, no Alisson, and you're still going toe to toe with one of the best teams in the world. So that even though you are disappointed because you did play better on the day, I feel like you should take heart in that. If this team can do this, when you do get these players back, you can win the title. I wouldn't be disheartened if I was you. I would think, okay, cool. Yes,
tough though.
Yes, we didn't pick up the 3 points, but you're 1 point behind. You level 1 points with Arsenal, no? You level 1 points with Arsenal. City are 1 point behind. We're getting these players back slowly. We know Liverpool can go on a run. We know that we've seen it before. Yes, City can do it, but Liverpool have matched them toe to toe. So I wouldn't be disheartened. You are the better team. You probably are the better team right now. So no need for disappointment there.
You sure?
Yeah, man.
I don't know, man. This title race, I'm too scarred. But cool. Moving on to City, we need to quickly talk about them. They were obviously a little bit off it today. Like, I feel like because people aren't used to City kind of getting bopped, I feel like people have perhaps got ahead of themselves a bit. I still feel like City were decent today. They had parts of the game where they definitely were the better side. But overall, they got cooked. Are we Are we worried about them? Do we still feel like they're the overarching favourites for the title, as many people believe this season?
It's hard to worry about City because last season there was a period in time people were saying City not the same, City not that same team, City not how they used to be. This new Pep system is not working. But time and time again, they prove you wrong, and they just go on that run and win games. So I wouldn't say I'm worried about City at the moment. But they do need to get it together pretty soon. They need to start being the behemoth that is Man City quite soon.
Cool. Well, I mean, they've got us next week. So
No, 2 weeks time, bro. 31st of March.
okay.
I don't think they win that game, by the way.
You don't think they win?
Nah.
What do you think? Draw?
Draw, yeah.
I'm sensing a draw. I got to feel that is the best result for us.
Either draw
But-
or Arsenal win.
Again, I feel like City at the Etihad, sometimes out of nowhere, when the pressure's on, they can really put in
I feel like
Yes,
it'll be very bad for everyone else if City win that game. That's what I tell you. If City win that game, they're 99% they're going to win the league.
Do you think you can win at City on the 31st of March?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think like Arsenal, I think we've just hit like form at the perfect time going into the game against City, putting ourselves like at the top of the table in terms of the level of performance that we're reaching at the moment, like the levels that each players are achieving. And it's not like, it's one or two players that are carrying the team. Like you can go through basically the whole 11, and like each player is playing to a very, very high standard.
Yeah, it's been
when
a good form.
when it counts. Do you know what I mean? So
If Arsenal don't go through in that Porto game, they're going to lose against City.
that's
If
the
they
one
don't
thing.
win that Porto game,
Yeah.
you think they're going to lose it? To be fair, they all knock their confidence. It'll be a
100%.
huge knocker. I feel like Porto got a serious, nasty deep block ready for you guys.
They just battered Benfica 5-0 the other day.
Yeah, but I do feel like if Arsenal score in the first 30, it will be a very easy game. It's just whether they can. I know Porto, but if they kind of get to, that young 50 minutes, haven't scored,
Start getting nervous.
could be a challenging game. Do you think he'll beat Porto?
Yeah, no, I think we'll beat Porto. I think they'll come and they'll try and sit in, but I think the level of performance that we're kind of achieving, especially at home as well, and the ability that we're finding now to undo deep blocks, whether it's through utilising.
You were saying
Kai
that in the
Havertz.
first leg as well.
You were all saying that the first.
Yeah, I
leg.
mean, like first leg away from home, first Champions League game, like in the last 16 for a lot of these players, probably got to them a little bit. Manager was probably telling them to be a bit.
Managers never played in the Champions League, brother.
So, but I think coming
Oh,
back,
he's never played there.
No.
We don't
I
know.
thought for Arsenal, I think one season. One season.
Oh,
His
okay,
last
but
season.
we know how that probably went.
Exactly.
but I think playing at home, I think they'll have the fans behind them. I think
Okay, so you're saying Porto win comfortably, and you're saying
Arsenal.
Arsenal win comfortably against Porto, and then you're also saying that you'll beat City at the Etihad as well.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, probably a good week.
fantastic. Yeah, sounds like a
good
very
week.
sounds like a very good week.
Can't wait.
I think City have actually banked on getting a win against Arsenal.
really?
Like the last 5 minutes of today, I think showed that they were happy with a point at Anfield, which you would be, understandably so. But I think they need to beat Arsenal now if they want to go on and win it.
I do feel like Pep played for the draw. Once he got to the 70-minute, you saw he took off KDB. He brought on Kovacic for more control, which they did get. So you could see that he wasn't trying to go. So he wanted to take it out of that end-to-end state that it was in because he just probably thought it was too dangerous to lose. Last point on City and Liverpool is people are saying that City played better once KDB came off today. Is there any thoughts on that? I've got my opinion about it, which is similar to what I just said. Huh?
Share it.
No, my opinion is that it was just a tactical move. KDB, wants to play forward, wants to try play in Haaland. I think he just brought on Kovacic to bring more control to the game. I don't feel like it's not that they played better. They played in a more controlled fashion because as a whole, they were struggling. So I feel like people saying that, KDB comes in and City get more of a hold of the game. It's, you got to kind of know how the game is going to sort of assess that. I think.
One thing. No, go.
No, I was going to say, you could argue that, definitely, but then you take away the punching power of KD. You lose a lot from that. Obviously, Kovacic can give you control in like deeper areas, but you lose massive threats, sort of De Bruyne to Haaland, etc. And I think they kind of lost that when he came off, but they gained control.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I said. I think it was it was a bit of a. It showed Pep not really having confidence to kind of take the game to us in doing that substitution.
One thing I will say is that I think over the previous years, when Man City makes when they used to make substitutions, you would see like Mahrez coming on or like Bernardo Silva coming on, like this, and you're like, oh, like how have they got this much squad depth?
Yeah.
Whereas today, I looked at it and I saw Doku and Kovacic coming on, and I was like, it's not the same. It doesn't have the same effect. Like those substitutes, they're not at the same level as what like they used to have coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Which then, like in terms of like whether Man City are the same, I feel like they look a bit more beatable nowadays.
Oh, you seem very confident that they're not what they used to be.
They're not what they used to be.
Oh, interesting. Okay, cool. All right, guys, let's move on. Arsenal. I feel like we kind of covered Arsenal and where they are in the title race. They're definitely in things. They're looking strong. So I'm not going to really go into detail of their game against Brentford, but I do feel like it's a big turning point. Well, not turning point, but it's a big win for you, especially winning last minute. That's always a major confidence boost. I just want to talk on a particular Kai Havertz.
No, we're not talking about Kai Havertz.
No, you got to talk about Kai Havertz first. I know who you want to talk about. No, we got to talk about Kai Havertz. It's a big talking point from this week.
Yeah.
So people are saying obviously he was bought in for 65 million. Arsenal fans weren't happy. Didn't start off too well. Also, in the Premier League, generally, he was getting beat down on.
Yeah.
Is it time for apologies? Last minute winner, playing a bit better. You're not even gonna let him
go.
It's not time for apologies. Kai Havertz has always been capable of this. I'm not here to even big him up. Like, there's this thing that Chelsea fans know. Yeah, we all said it. Kai Havertz in March and April, he always finds form. Every season he finds form. He'll be rubbish for the beginning of the season, and this period he starts to pick up form.
Okay.
If you remember a couple of years ago when he scored that goal against Newcastle.
Oh yeah.
The Jorginho pass during this period, he picks up like 8-9 goals during this period. So none of this is a surprise to me. So is what we've seen from Kai Havertz in just a short period, is that worth 65 million? No, it's not. You can never say that's worth 65 million.
But for a little while, he's been popping up with some important assists and goals. You know what I mean? Like kind of since I would say December.
He's still the same player he was 3-4 years ago. Like I hate this narrative that Arteta's unlocked Havertz because he hasn't done anything.
I think with Kai Havertz, I think when he first joined at the beginning of the season, he just looked like a low confidence player. Yeah. Like on the ball, like he'd lose the ball. He wasn't passing the ball forward a lot. Sometimes he'd pass it backwards.
He wouldn't demand the ball either.
What I will give him now is that like you're starting to see like him be a confident player bit by bit, where it's like sometimes he has little moments. He's passing forward. He'll drive forward sometimes, and he looks like he's becoming like to the level of like what this team is meant to be. Obviously, the one problem is that obviously we spent 65 million on him when it was like we could have spent that money on like a proper striker, and he's our top earner as well. So it's like you combine those two factors together.
Top earner, shocking.
Yeah. So if you combine those two factors together, 65 million top earner, like you're expecting a lot from this player. And to be fair to the gaffer, he's starting to get something out of him. Whether you think it's 65 million pounds worth or whatever, it's up to you. But top of the league, man, I don't. You know what I'm saying? The guy scored the winner, so I'm cool.
All right, moving on. I know there's a certain Arsenal player that you want to speak on, called Mr. Ben White. He had a very good performance against Brentford. 2 assists, I believe, and was solid at the back. What's your thoughts on Ben White so far this season and as a player on the whole?
Let me tell you about Ben White. Ben White, Benny Blanco, BW4, SR4.
Sorry,
I'm back.
Wait, sorry, who's SR4?
Sergio Ramos.
Oh, God.
That's what we're coming.
Hey, ring that bell.
This is what we're coming for.
Where's the bell?
This is what we're coming for.
Ring that bell. Ring it.
I said it once. I will say it again. I will say it again. I will say it again.
You're comparing.
Don't throw this in my face.
You're comparing. No, I had to, man.
Bro, SR4, man.
You're comparing Ben White to.
Let me tell you something. I'm just gonna put this.
Yeah, it's what similarities do Ben White and Sergio Ramos?
Let me tell you about Ben White now. Yeah, Ben White, the level that he's touching at the moment in terms of on the ball, retention of the ball, key passes, the crossing, the overlaps, assists now, scored last week. In terms of defensive responsibilities, he's very tenacious. He's kind of like putting in like slide tackles and just being that right back that is eventually going to get to the point where he's like a 1v1 demon. He's becoming that guy. And in terms of why I call him SR4 now, yeah, it's because Sergio Ramos, before he became the Sergio Ramos we knew, he went to right back and then he kind of like, you know, learnt his trade a bit there and then he came back in. I feel like it's the same for Ben White. Centre back originally.
So he's going to become centre back again.
He'll go back into the centre, bro.
Okay.
And the fact that we're starting to see him do the inverted position now, and he's comfortable on the inside, and he can play the passes. Like, bro, the level this guy is touching at the moment, he's the best right back in the league.
Oh, God.
He's the best right back in the league right now.
God,
he's the best right back in the league.
Worse.
He's the best. No, let me tell you something, yeah, because let me tell you, you hype up Trent Alexander-Arnold, he inverts, whatever.
Yeah.
Ben White is inverting, and he's still getting round on the overlap as well to get 2 assists in one game.
Yeah, how many times Trent's done that in games?
All he does is invert and
I'm trying to think. Is he been better than Kyle Walker this? Yes. Or to be fair, Kyle Walker today.
You saw Kyle Walker today.
Yeah.
Currently, Ben White is number 1. He's the number 1 right back in the Premier League. The levels he's playing at the moment, he's number 1.
Oh, I don't know about that, man.
Why don't you know
he's
about
in
that?
and around there, man. I feel like Kyle Walker's been good. I mean, today was bad.
Which right back played this weekend who's better than Ben White?
Well, not this weekend. Kyle Walker had a bad weekend.
So which right back played better
Kyle
than
Walker
him?
had a bad weekend, but
Which
he's
right
had a
back?
good
I'll ask
season.
you a question. Which right back played better?
Well,
than
you're
him?
asking me on a weekend. Yes, Ben White was the best
Pedro
right back
Porro.
this season.
Pedro Porro. You're gonna stand by that.
You got assists as well. Like, if you want to go off assists like this weekend,
The levels are
Pedro
different,
Porro.
man. The levels are
Also, I
different.
feel like if Trent hadn't been injured, he'd easily be the best right back this season.
Facts,
I mean, I
facts,
think,
facts,
you know,
facts,
the level that we're seeing. No, but Ben White is doing well. I do feel like, you know, that was a little bit, you know, OTT. But I do like him. He's got some real
He's
good
a quality
traits.
player.
Yeah, definitely.
He can play. He played CDM a lot in the Championship for Leeds.
Oh,
I think.
really?
Yeah, and then obviously for Brighton, played centre back. So he's got versatility. Do you think him inverting that's actually sort of improved his performances instead of Zinchenko going in there? Obviously, Zinchenko's not been playing much, so in White instead.
Yeah,
that's helped.
I think as an Arsenal fan, it was confusing at times as to why he wasn't used in the inverted position, because when we signed him, it was like the headlines were, you've got this ball playing centre back, and you're seeing the highlights from when he was at Leeds or at Brighton where he was like spraying passes, he was like driving through teams and stuff like that. So the fact that he wasn't inverted was like, it was odd. But now it's the fact, what really impresses me at the moment is the fact that he can do the inverted position and, you know what I mean, he's very comfortable in the midfield, but then he's still getting round on the overlap like a traditional right back. Like, it actually doesn't make sense to me. I don't know how he's doing it, like, to be honest.
Yeah, the little role he has now is clean. But anyway, moving on.
I'm talking facts, bro.
Okay.
He's so cold, man. No, Ben White, he's so cold. He's so cold.
All right, calm down, man.
Sorry.
Okay,
man.
cool. Moving on from the title race, moving on to the top 4 race. So we had a big game today in the top 4 race. Aston Villa went on against Spurs. They got smoked at home, 4-0.
Red card, innit?
Yeah, they had the red card, but still
Quite early on.
quite early on. But still, even in terms of performance, I feel like Spurs were a lot better. I think.
So you think the game would have gone that way even if they didn't?
No, I don't feel like they would have lost 4-0, but I feel like they would have lost comfortably. I think it would have been 2-0 probably. I definitely do think it would have been a 2-goal deficit. But yeah, what's our thoughts on that game for the top 4 race? Who are we now favouring to get top 4, Aston Villa or Spurs?
I always said Villa was never going to finish top 4. It was never happening. Yeah, they've been great this season. Amazing team. But the Premier League, most of the time, the status quo is always returned to. So like, I always believe that by the end of the season, either United or Spurs will be filling that final 4th position. I congratulate Aston Villa for what they've done this season.
Yeah.
I congratulate Unai Emery, but this is the big leagues, man. Come on.
Why do you feel the status quo always returns?
It's
just the way the Premier League is
the
been.
know-how.
Yeah, man.
With the know-how in that running period.
Especially the running.
A lot of the times, those teams that have that good little run, they can't deal with it. Always, they drop a lot of points towards the end of the season where you're at that point where you have to win. And you know, kind of like the spotlight is on you. I remember Leicester in COVID time, they were like sort of 6 points clear and
there was like 2 or 3 seasons in a row where Leicester were basically 4th until like last day, and then they'll lose.
And then they lose out.
So,
So it does often happen. I remember like even kind of back in the day, even Everton when they had a good side, sometimes they looked like they were dead set on time of getting top 4, and they just sort of fall away. So yeah, no, I think it's a fair point in terms of Emery. A couple of people were saying that there's clear cracks in his tactical structure. Is that something that, you know, anybody is of the belief of?
Not for a club like Villa, but that's why I think we've seen him struggle when he goes to a top European club like Arsenal, PSG. I think his style of football really suits an underdog sort of club. And that's why he's done so well at Villa. But I think their European football didn't help them today. They've obviously played on Thursday against Ajax.
It can be a lot.
I think Spurs just looked fresher. Obviously, the football that Spurs play as well requires a lot of running, and they just cooked him at the end.
Cool. So we're going for Spurs for 4th.
100%.
Cool. Villa 5th.
I haven't said Spurs. I said Spurs or United. I'm gonna.
You still think United can finish 4th?
Man.
I'm gonna go United.
These teams, they just have the note. They just know how to put it together.
I'd go United.
I feel like
What's the points looking like?
I feel like United are rubbish, man. I don't feel like they're gonna do it. Even though United
could be rubbish and still do it. That's
no,
because think about how bad United have been this season, and
look where they
they're
are.
still close to 4th.
I don't think.
United got 47 points, and Spurs have got 53 points. 6 points different.
Yeah, that's a lot. I don't think they're gonna catch.
There's 10 games left.
So I'm going Spurs 4th. Where are you going?
Aston Villa.
Oh, you think Aston Villa will get?
I'm gonna stick by them.
Okay, who are you going 4th?
United.
And who are you going?
Spurs.
Cool. All right, cool. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about weekly roundup and rondos. So a lot of football this week, even outside of that top 4. We had CL in the week as well, Europa League. Any rondos before we go into any topics?
Should we talk about Kylian and Kane? Yeah,
okay.
They had 2 great weeks in the Champions League.
Yeah, I want to talk. I want to talk on Kane. I can't lie. You want to start? You can start, and then I'll talk on Kane.
I sort of wanted to say, obviously, these are the 2 best players in the world right now, especially on form wise. We've seen Kylian Mbappe is doing it time and time again. And I want to say this. I feel like you're not gonna get at me for this, but I feel like PSG are slight underdogs for the Champions League this season.
Really?
Because I feel like this is the first season that PSG have been in the Champions League, and there's no pressure on them. People have just, because we've known them for the last 5-6 years, they're meant to be this great thing, but they never achieve it. People have stopped having that expectation. So now they just go in silently at their work, picking apart teams. And I feel like if you don't watch out, and if you were one of the top teams was to get them, whether that's Arsenal, whether that's Liverpool, Real Madrid, they need to be careful because they do have good players. They do have a good system under Enrique right now, and they are getting the job done.
Fair enough. And I think, kind of Mbappe, them only having like 1 star to carry also 100%. Helps them as well. I feel like it was too much with Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe. You don't get enough energy on the pitch, but only having Mbappe helps a lot more. But I'm not sure they have the quality to win the Champions League. I think they might be able to beat a big team here or there because, when you got Mbappe on your side, you can do anything, but I'm not sure they can win it.
That's fair.
But anyway, I want to talk about Kane. Now listen, Bayern Munich are probably not going to win the league this season. I think Leverkusen are 8 points ahead. I'd be surprised if they win the Champions League, but they obviously have more of a chance there. I've been hearing about Kane, like he's got no trophies. He's not going to win again this season. People saying he hasn't got quality. We need to come away from team success and sometimes look at individual quality. Kane is, as Marcus said, top 2 players in the world this season. I feel like he's having a ridiculous season. He scored his 4th hat-trick on the weekend as Bayern beat Mainz. He has 30 goals in 25 games in the Bundesliga. There's about 9 games to go. I think Lewandowski's record is 41 goals. I made a TikTok about this. He might beat Lewandowski's record in his first season. Like...
What do you say that? Is it 44?
41.
41.
He's scoring more than a goal a game anyway. He might not anyway, but the level of goals he's scoring is ridiculous. And some of the creativity he's shown over the season as well. Absolutely stupid. I feel like he's such a complete striker. Yes, he's been very unlucky in his career, but I just feel like people kind of overdo team success and mix it with individual quality. Like
when he finishes his career, what's he going to show his kids?
Yeah, he needs to win a trophy. He will win a Bundesliga. Like Bayern Munich will make sure, one way or another, Alonso gets out of their league.
Do you think it's a coincidence that they're not like Harry Kane's?
Yes, it is.
No, it's a coincidence.
You don't think it's a coincidence?
No, it's Leverkusen have been.
And they lost in what was the final that they had where they lost?
He came off the bench. It was the first game he was there, bro.
I think it's a coincidence.
Of course, it's a coincidence. So it's Kane's fault. What's Kane doing wrong in that team?
Yeah.
They haven't been good. And Tuchel hasn't been able to make them work. To blame Kane for what you see, you're on Twitter too much.
Evidently,
you're on Twitter.
Look, let's be real.
He's their best player.
Evidently, there's something Harry Kane's doing wrong. There must be. There must be.
No,
you can't.
This is what I'm glad I mentioned it because I knew this was coming.
All right, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
In terms of the team he had at Tottenham, they were good enough to win a trophy. The team he's had at Liverpool, at England, they were good enough to win. They've been good enough to win a trophy, and he was the captain for both teams.
Yeah.
Now he's gone to Bayern Munich.
He wasn't the captain at Tottenham. Lloris was the captain.
Okay, all right, whatever.
Continue.
All right, cool. Now he's gone to Bayern Munich, who historically they win a trophy every year, whether it's the Bundesliga, whether it's the Postcat, wherever it is. And suddenly they're not on track to win a trophy this year.
But what's the concrete evidence? What's he actually done to cause them not to win trophies?
Bro, there's something. I don't know. But there's something.
England,
There's something.
you look at England, look at the great teams, great players that England have had. They've won nothing since 1960, whatever.
Yeah, but they've won stuff in their club career.
1966, huh?
What are you saying?
Well, England haven't won.
But them players have still won stuff in their club career.
Okay, you look at it, but Spurs haven't won anything either, and they've had great players as well.
Bro, he's missed.
They had Bale. They had the prime Bale that we've seen.
Then he won stuff.
Yeah,
Why can't Kane do the same thing?
Kane will
let's
win
see,
at
let's
Kane
see,
will
let's
win
see.
at Bayern. Like,
Let's see.
Wait, if you're Kane, if you don't win a trophy this season, you stay.
you stay, of course you stay.
Yeah,
You see it
One more season, I think.
at Bayern for about 3 seasons, I say.
Yeah.
I'd say about 3 seasons. I think his contract's 4 years. I think get to the 3rd year and then see.
But this is my thing, yeah. You see the way you were saying that people can't keep saying that, you can't keep putting the emphasis on like the team results and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel like people need to like start looking at Harry Kane and being like, what is going on here? Because why have you not won anything?
Well, if you look at him and then you analyze him, there's nothing to come up with. There's nothing. He doesn't do this wrong. Like everything he does is golden. So you can't actually blame him.
I don't think you can blame him.
He's scoring 30 goals in the league.
But it comes.
I feel
But
like
maybe
the
it
only
comes.
thing you can say that there's been a couple moments where like maybe
For England, yes,
he
I
could
agree.
have
The
done
penalty.
a bit more. But I still feel like every big player has those moments where they deliver or they're not. I feel like there's been a lot of times where Kane has delivered for his team in big moments, but people kind of ignore them because ultimately they never win.
Let's look at the big moment Bayern Munich had this season, which was against Leverkusen in that game.
Yeah.
How did he play in that game?
He didn't play very well.
He didn't play
The whole
very
team
well.
didn't play
But I'm
well.
saying, what did he do?
But the whole team didn't play
I know,
very
but
well.
what did he do?
You're acting like it was a Diaz performance today.
I know, but I'm looking at him specifically. I'm
That's
asking,
what
what
I
did
wanted
he
to-
do?
striker.
That's
He
what
didn't
I
get
wanted
any
to
chances,
bring
I
up here. When you look at Kane's club career and the lack of trophies, if you look at the certain moments where his team lost in it, whether it's the league, whether it's a cup competition, it's not like he's missing bare chances.
Okay,
That's not what happens.
Okay, alright.
So he's not at fault.
You
for
chose
this.
you chose your wording very carefully there.
What?
But
Because what happened in England's
I said
last
club. I
biggest...
said club.
yeah,
I
see,
said
I'm just
club.
checking. I'm just checking.
No, you know what I think is so criminal? Like I look at someone like Haaland who depends more on service, right?
He misses so many
If
chances.
Haaland was playing for Tottenham and in those games where they're getting shut out, he's not doing anything.
Kane scored 30 goals for Tottenham last season, in the league. 30.
Do you know what I'm saying? But Haaland doesn't have the capability to drop in, do stuff when his team's up against it. But we kind of accept it because he can get goals. So it's like, why does Kane need to like drop deep and start being R9 and bring his team up? He gets goals. His team should play well and deliver chances for him, and he will finish.
One last question from me.
Okay.
Has Harry Kane delivered in big moments?
He has delivered in some big moments.
Like
He scored a last minute winner for Bayern the other day. He scored a brace. He got a last minute winner for them. And if they had lost that
That
game,
was a big moment.
yeah, it was a big moment. If they had lost that game, title's done.
He has that sort of Thierry Henry disease. You know what I'm saying?
Whoa.
I like that.
No, don't do that. Don't do
I like that.
Don't do that.
Thierry in like big games and big moments, he was quiet.
No,
No,
he wasn't, bro. No, he wasn't.
in finals he doesn't have a good
No,
record.
he wasn't.
He doesn't have a
If
good
you go
record.
through
Stop.
Kane's biggest games in his career, he hasn't delivered as much as he should have, 100%.
I wouldn't say as much as he should have, but
There's only 2 games you can think of.
has the club delivered though?
Champions League final?
Has the team delivered?
for England? Champions League final. He literally just came back
Yeah.
from injury.
What happened in the
And-
run-in when Leicester won the league? Where was he?
He wasn't. Okay, stop it.
just saying,
Come on,
man.
man.
Nah,
Everybody's just.
But you look,
dismissing
so
what
that
I'm
Champions
saying.
League final against Liverpool, Spurs weren't good,
no,
Like-
I agree.
And
I agree.
he was injured.
and they were playing probably one of the best teams in Premier League in recent Premier League history.
Really and truly, Lucas Moura should have started that game anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, he rushed him back, didn't they? Yeah.
but I get it. He does need to deliver a bit more in big moments. But I do feel like some of the analysis is quite too heavily
It's an
agenda
easy
driven. You know, some
narrative to go
yeah,
by.
you know, some of the narrative that we're getting. I feel like this is more balanced.
It's an Arsenal bias.
I'm not sure about what's going on here.
It's an Arsenal bias.
All right, cool. Moving on to more kind of weekly roundup stuff. So we obviously had a lot of European football midweek. We had all of the competitions play games. Premier League teams kind of, you know, this
Brighton.
week and in the general not doing as, you know, as well as some people may have guessed. Is the Premier League a bit too arrogant? You know what I mean? In terms of the coefficient right now, we're not looking too good. We're
not going to get the fifth spot.
we might not get the fifth spot, you know. I think Villa struggled. West Ham
Brighton.
struggled. Brighton got smoked.
Yeah, I saw your video on Brighton.
Yeah.
Because someone said that they would win Serie A.
Yeah, someone on Football Daily at the beginning of the season said Brighton would win Serie A.
That's crazy.
Well, there you go. Roma, what, fourth, fifth?
Fifth, yeah.
Yeah.
Fifth in the league. Got beat 4-0. I think Brighton struggle a lot in transition. But any thoughts on the Brighton game?
Brighton are struggling in general right now anyway. Like, they haven't been too good in the league either.
What's your thoughts on why?
It's personnel. They just don't have the players. Yes, the Zerbi's tactics worked for so long, but they lost too many guys and too many guys that were intrinsic to their system. And yes, they still have some good players there, but with the couple of injuries that they have, I don't blame the Zerbi for anything that's going on right now. I don't really want him to try to adapt his tactics to make Brighton how they were maybe previously or a bit more defensive. No, he's a very good tactical coach who plays a very good brand of football. So he just doesn't have the personnel to make it work right now in the league.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think some of the negative analysis on De Zerbi has been a bit lazy. Like, people talk about, he needs to handle transitions better. You need physical
Players.
You know, quick
He's got Gilmore
defenders,
in midfield, bro,
you
man.
know,
I'm saying?
defenders, good DMs. You're like, it costs a lot of money. You're not going to get, you know, quick physical centre-backs that are good on the ball.
And he's juggling Europa.
Yeah, he's juggling Europe as
so
well.
hard.
Like, how can Brighton attract, you know, that you know, a centre back that's quick, good on the ball, and physical? That's not at least young. They kind of have to go for that. So I do feel like sometimes it's a bit lazy. Like, they're always going to be a bit susceptible on the counter because it just takes too much quality to kind of get that.
Also, I don't think Ferguson is the guy we thought he was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's been so, like, I know he's been injured, in and out of injury as well, but he's been very quiet this season. Like,
Yeah, he has been.
especially with the prices that were being quoted last year. It's like he's not that player yet.
Yeah, fair. Do you feel like he's just not that guy, or do you think it's the thing where
He's a decent player. He has a lot of talent. Don't get me twisted, but he's not gonna be a world-class striker anytime soon at all.
Oh, you don't think so?
I still feel like
it's early
I
to
feel like guys like Højlund are in a level above him.
Yeah,
And they're similar ages.
Yeah, we saw that from Højlund, but Højlund's has struggled at periods as well. He didn't start that well in the league. I still feel.
I
feel like
saw
we should.
the talent.
Yeah, no, I think that the hype with Evan Ferguson was overinflated, probably because Brighton have had so many gems. But I still feel like it's quite early. What is he, 19? I still think we've seen glimpses.
What gems have Brighton had that actually turned out to be gems?
McAllister.
Ben White.
McAllister.
They've sold a lot of players.
But most of them don't actually succeed elsewhere.
Ben White.
At least at Chelsea.
That's a good agenda. So you feel like they're just overhyped.
Yeah.
You probably would, didn't it?
Basuma's doing all right at Tottenham now.
Yeah, but Basuma's been all right.
He's spent the whole season on the bench.
So you're not backing Caicedo, no?
I've never backed Caicedo even before we got
Okay,
him. So
yes.
I've never been.
He always
massive
thought
fan
he
of-
was. Yeah, to be fair, I always thought Caicedo was ridiculously overpriced.
But you lot rated him so highly. I said he's not the guy you lot think he is.
I did rate him quite highly,
He's
but
Ramirez.
not. That's a bit of a drag, isn't it? But I did rate him quite highly, but not as high as
And then you have like Cucurella as well.
Oh yeah,
It's like-
he's not done too well. Is he injured at the
Yeah,
moment?
he's been out for like 4 or 5 months.
Oh, okay, first, but he's not really here. Actually. So do you think Brighton players were overhyped?
I feel like the system made them look better than they actually were.
Yeah.
Both Potter's system and the Zerbi system.
And do you know what the funny thing is? I always used to say about Brighton, like a lot of the players that they overrate, like we watch Brighton. A lot of people watch Brighton when they're good because you watch your own club and like, they're not a big team.
Against teams of their level, they don't do well.
Yeah, they don't always do, and like they have shockers. Like it's been more this season, but even like last season, they'd have those games and like, you know, a lot of these players
And they
like Caicedo
and they get
you know,
battered.
like Cucurella, they're getting cooked, but you
Yeah.
don't see it
Yeah.
because everyone talks about Brighton when they do really well. They go to a big team, they pop them off the park.
Exactly.
But yeah. What's next on the agenda? Is it the? Oh, did anyone have any rondos or anything they wanted to say about the week of football? Anything else? No.
I don't want to see Chelsea play tomorrow. That's all I'm going to say.
Guys need to start prepping their rondos more, man. What's going on? But cool. Let's go into the bonus topic.
I've got a Rondo, actually.
Oh, you got a rondo?
Yeah.
All right.
This is one of the least entertaining Premier League seasons ever.
Least.
You going to ring the bell?
Jeez.
Or do you disagree? Yeah. And it's not just because I'm a Chelsea. You might think, oh, he's a Chelsea fan. I'm not involved in a title race. I'm not involved in anything special. No. Like, genuinely, even in comparison to last season, last season we had Arsenal and City going head-to-head for the title. I found that enthralling and exhilarating. I found the brand of football both teams were playing were very interesting and good to watch. There's no team, neither Arsenal, maybe Arsenal in the last 2-3 games, but Arsenal, Liverpool, City, I don't actually enjoy watching their games. I don't see brilliant football. There's nothing that really gets me off my seat. And then the rest of the league, I just feel like the standard's been quite poor.
I'd argue the complete opposite. I think this has been like a really, really entertaining season in the sense that you've got 3 top teams going for the league. Obviously,
in theory, yes,
let me land, man.
Go on.
You've got 3 top. Obviously, Arsenal. The whole narrative around Arsenal is they bottled it last year. Can they do it this year?
Mm-hmm.
Liverpool, you've got the story of Klopp leaving. Can he win it on his last season? Then obviously Man City is like, can they go on and do the treble again? Obviously in like history, we've seen teams win the treble and then slump afterwards. And then just below that, obviously you've got like the Aston Villa, Tottenham, United competition for like 4th place. One thing I will say is that the bottom, the relegation side,
It's not the relegation battle's not good.
Burnley, Sheffield,
They've been shocking.
they've been
terrible.
awful.
I think
So
we've
made
got
that
2
side worse.
shocking teams in
But
the
then
league.
moving on, like even if you look in Europe, obviously like Real Madrid with the emergence of like Bellingham, that looks exciting. Obviously, as you were saying about PSG, they kind of look, like an exciting proposition. Obviously, you've still got Arsenal in there. You've got Man City in there.
Let's call a spade a spade. He's bitter because he's a Chelsea fan.
No,
you don't love football no more.
You're gonna say that, but
you feel disengaged.
I agree.
And I would if I
I
were
agree
you.
with everything that Lesh is saying. I agree with it.
Yeah.
But that's how it looks on paper. When you actually watch these games, you don't get the same feeling.
You weren't entertained today.
It was I didn't watch the whole game because I was with my mother. Obviously, Mother's Day. Big up my mum and that.
No, you can't use that as your get out.
Why not? It's Mother's Day. Anyway,
No, he did well because I got cooked for watching that game.
see?
Yeah, Mumsy was telling me you just came home, you just watched that.
This guy has,
You
has
can't do that.
Liverpool above his mother now. What's
Yeah,
going on?
yeah,
Hey, Mumsy, don't say that. It could never be.
But I'm saying is like, I just don't feel enthralled. But when I watch these games, I don't like. Chelsea were bad last season. I still watched most Arsenal games and most City games. I still like. I need to watch this Arsenal against Southampton, Arsenal against Newcastle. I wanted to watch these games. The games were entertaining. They were end to end. There was. I was on the edge of my seat. I just don't find that as much.
Today was edge of the seat. Though.
Yeah, today was definitely edge of the seat. One thing I would say is that Arsenal and City aren't as entertaining as they used to be. Arsenal as entertaining as last season, and City aren't as entertaining as they used to be. I feel like they seek to control games more. And
More methodical. Isn't it?
yeah, it's very
too
methodical.
tactical, baby.
Yeah, it's almost too tactical. The way that they just lock down that middle of the pitch, it's like there's no space there for expression. But they're doing the business.
Maybe
isn't
it's just the Premier League, innit?
they're doing the business. But Arsenal have been, in
Last
recent
three-
games,
last three games, I'd say.
last few games
More
they've
than
been
three. Since we come back from Dubai.
yeah.
Everybody needs to take a trip to Dubai.
in the new year.
I'm an advocate for Dubai.
Have you been there?
Yeah, long time ago though. But I'm
But
going.
cool.
I'm going. After I saw it done for the Arsenal team, I'm going again.
All right, guys, let's go into the bonus topic. So, wait, Marcus, you got a whiteboard?
No, you didn't give me one, bro.
Or is there not one? Is there not one beside you?
Where?
Oh, let me pop out and get it. All right, guys, I'm just gonna get one whiteboard for Marcus. We're doing the bonus topic.
Racial discrimination.
There's 3 black guys.
I'm the really real one. I'm not even wearing this. Thank you, brother. Let me get a pen. Oh, it's there.
Cool. You guys know the deal for the bonus topics. I'm going to ask a question. We all write down a name. And then we discuss. So the first one is, what did I have done for the first one? So for the first one is, so the question is, players where it just doesn't make sense how good they are. These are top quality players, right? That have got they've got attributes that just don't really match up to being a top level player. But for some reason, they do the absolute business. I feel like I saw a similar question asked on BR Football. It was Culture Cabs and Diaz.
Sorry, it confused me a bit.
So the question is, players who they're top quality players, but it doesn't make sense because in terms of attributes, they're just not. Their attributes just are not equating to what they're doing on the pitch. So an example that was given was Inzaghi back in the day. Like he
was
is
an elite poacher.
Yeah, elite poacher, but bro, it didn't make sense. Like he's not that quick, can't dribble. His touch wasn't that great, but he just got goals. So yeah, that's the question. I've got mine. Oh, this pen is dead. Oh, cheers, bro.
I actually like this player, so I don't know what I'm doing this, but fuck it.
No, it can be the player I've chosen. I like. Cool. Anybody want to start?
Go on, I'll start.
All right,
I've gone with Thomas Müller.
Oh.
I think he's a natural pick for this because it doesn't make sense why he's built a career on 15 years. I saw highlights of the Champions League final in 2010 the other day. He was playing, doing the same stuff, running into the box, picking up sort of loose balls. He's just got that knack of getting goals. I think probably in his peak 2014 World Cup, he was really good in that Germany team. But it just doesn't make sense why he's so good at football, and it baffles me. So that's why I put him down.
Yeah. No, I think he's a good one. I actually had him as well. I'm gonna try think of somebody else, but no, I think it is a good one. I feel like I don't know either. He's very intelligent. I feel like that's how it is. Yeah, basically kind of built a career off elite movement and know-how of the game. Because you think about a player who plays cam, who plays wide, who's been so top level, but can't really dribble. Can't really, not really spectacular in tight spaces, but can finish, knows movement, and is been a sensation.
He's very German in the sense it's more about efficiency, and he keeps them very simple, but he does them to the perfection.
Yeah. Basically, he does the basics.
Yeah,
like so well. Like Muller makes no sense, man. Like he'll have a game where he's absolutely cooking you, and you'll be like, how? But yeah, I think he's a good one. Yeah.
I could have put down Closer as well. Miroslav Closer. I feel like he had good sort of ability as a striker, but
so we're not just doing current footballers.
No, it's not just current football.
Yeah,
but not too like back in the day.
Yeah.
There's another one, Gerd Muller. I don't know if you have clips of that guy, but
you did not watch Gerd Muller, man.
I didn't watch it, but if you watch his clip,
what are you talking about?
one time, because he had Messi's record, I was like, oh, like what's this guy on? Like this kind of amazing player that's got so many goals. I watched a YouTube highlight reel of this guy. Yeah, it was the deadest thing I've ever watched. Proper, just short little guy with bare pace. Just I don't know how he got so many goals, but anyway,
like Salah.
Oh, stop. Stop that, man. All right, but yeah, cool. That's me and Max done. Yeah, you go.
My one's Bernardo Silva.
Get out, leave the studio.
Let me land.
What?
The reason I said Bernardo Silva, is because it's what he does off the ball that doesn't make any sense to me. Okay. Like his physicality, like the way he runs. He runs, like tackles, duels, that side of his game. It just doesn't make sense to me because obviously like players of his stature and like the game he's supposed to be is like the Juan Matas, and whatnot. But this guy is like a little pit bull on the pitch where it's like
to be fair,
he's winning duels. He's up and down the pitch. Like he's everywhere. He's involved in everything, whether it's So it just doesn't make sense.
In that side of his game, I kind of see. I feel like one like a good example of that today is even like he was running with Nunes for a free ball today, and he kind of like just positioned his body in a way to just kind of just stroke and pass and won the ball. And this thinks
he's so clever.
Free run with Nunes. You just thought any player of his size is getting absolutely smoked, but he's very, very clever with how he uses his body, and he's very tenacious. So I think that's a good one in terms of his physical side. Technically, he's absolutely superb. So it's still kind of...
It's not shaky.
It's semi-howler. Explained well.
Bro. You're talking about Gerd Muller, bro.
I just threw him out there. He took my one, man.
Right, let me do Salah then.
Get out of here, man.
Okay, I've got 3.5. You might cook me for the last one, but it's a certain type of player, I feel like. So this is Oscar.
Oh, wait. No. Ignore everything. Why in God's...
There's a question mark with Kaka because what he actually does is like he's not too silky.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? He's not too silky. He's not like, he hasn't got the close control. He hasn't got too much flair either, but he just does amazing things. I just don't understand it. Like, I don't understand. He uses a lot of PNP and he's very intelligent, but I don't feel like his profile of player should reach the level that he actually reached. But he did, because he was just so good at everything he did. And the other three...
No. Whoa, my turn to get one.
Yeah,
Really?
really, yeah.
But I feel like his final third ability and his PNP was top notch. Is it because he's not the type of player you think he'd be? Is that?
I feel like with the attributes he has, most players with those attributes are never reaching anywhere near
With his stature and everything, isn't it?
anywhere near that type of that level of player. He's a Ballon d'Or winner.
Yeah.
What name 5 good attributes quickly? If you name 5, I'll be impressed.
Finishing,
Okay.
final pass. Final pass is definitely good.
Okay. Go
Yeah,
on.
dribbling.
Yeah, and then
Let's talk about his dribble. What type of dribbling did Kaka used to do?
no, I can't like.
He was silky. Come
Oh
on.
no,
Nah, it's not disrespect
no,
Kaka.
I'm not having that. Kaka's not silky.
He was.
That's
Let's
it. I
not
don't
disrespect.
You think Kaka was silky?
He was silky.
Nah, he's not.
What's your take?
You think
I
Kaka
don't
was?
think he's got that tight, close control.
He doesn't.
Do you know
It's
what I mean?
more like push it and like go past someone.
Definitely. Man
But
said
yeah,
Kaka was
You
silky.
know in
Tell-
FIFA when
tell
you
me
push,
about-
when you use that button to push the ball up in front of you, that's Kaka. That's what he does.
You're right.
This is a prime Jogger Benito
He's
baller.
not Jogger
No,
Benito.
he's not joking
Yes,
with
he
you.
is.
He's not
He's
Jogger
in the
Benito.
videos.
Because he was Brazilian.
Yeah.
He's Brazilian. Yeah.
Yeah, he
He's
has
not-
so.
he's not-
Fred is Brazilian. No, I'm not comparing Fred to Kaka,
He
but
just did, but
no, but Kaka's definitely not silky. But I do feel like he had.
don't get twisted. I respect Kaka as a player. I'm just saying, with his profile, with his attributes, I'm very surprised at where he reached as a footballer.
Yes. Why is Gertz on there? That's a.
I think Gus is trash, to be honest. But
Well, I said that with disdain. What Gertz to do to you?
let's go back to 2014 or 2013 and 2014. He was meant to be the next big thing, yeah.
Yeah.
But every time, even I saw him play, even for Dortmund, I just said, what's the big hype about it? He scored a World Cup final goal. He gave him a bit more plaudits, but I never actually saw anything that gave him any ability that meant he's going to be the next best young wonder kid. And I don't know why he got that far. Draxler is pretty similar. Draxler was meant to go to Arsenal since like 2010. Every summer he meant to go to Arsenal, and there was just nothing there after he left. I think it was Schalke. I just never saw anything from him.
I feel like you're just going for players that you hate on.
This guy, he
You
did.
think I hate Oscar?
No, I don't. But I feel like
I don't hate Oscar, but in a similar sense to Kaka, it's like he's not a matter profile, but he done quite well for Chelsea. He was a starter for Chelsea. Mourinho loved him. Whether that's because he worked hard, I don't know. But I thought I'm surprised he reached that level with his skill set. Like, yeah.
okay, so that's back to answering the question. So I think you have Oscar and Kaka. Draxler and Gertz.
I just don't like guts.
Yeah. It makes sense. Okay, cool. All right. Second question that we got here is. Oh, let me just read that out again. Okay, yeah. So players who should be amazing in terms of their traits, their attributes, but they just aren't. Like, not that they're like flops necessarily. It's a different question to that. It's like players that all the fundamentals are there, but they're just not that good.
I can mention like 15 Algerian footballers.
That's joke. No,
That's so funny.
There's a lot for those guys. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's funny.
Cool, I've got mine.
I'm going for a previous player. I've got mine. Mario Balotelli. I think
Ooh, that's
this
a good
guy
one.
had everything that you'd want as a striker. Strength, touch, link-up play. Could slap one, top bins. But the issue is he didn't have the mentality for it. I think that let his development down massively. But just on pure like attributes and characteristics, if you built a striker, it kind of would look similar to Balotelli.
Yeah.
But obviously just didn't reach his potential.
No, that's a good one. That's a good one. Definitely. I think he is one. Cool, I'm going to go next since mine was stolen before, so I want to get in early this time. Mine is Ousmane Dembele. When I look at Dembele, I remember watching him as well when he was young. Like, him as a winger, someone who is blessed with amazing pace,
Both feet.
power, both feet like you wouldn't believe. I when I started watching him, I didn't know what feet he was. Like, everything was there where you just thought, and he's got like lightning close control and everything. Everything was there in terms of just being a top player. And literally, I remember for France, him and Mbappe were the ones that they were looking at when they were young. Like, we've got wingers for a generation. We've seen Mbappe, kind of go to unbelievable heights. But Dembele, I just really don't think he's good. Some people still feel like he's a top-level player, but I really feel like he's well off it from where he thought he was. I didn't think he did that great at Barca. He's not really doing anything too special at PSG. It's just a shame because the traits he has, that ability with both feet,
special, isn't it? But
very, very special, but just not that great. And
injuries hurt him.
Injuries did hurt him. But I feel like decision making, I don't feel like he has that. He doesn't have a lot of intelligence for me as a and I know players always take that as the kind of the ultimate insult, but it's a fact. He doesn't make good decisions on the ball. Always wants to just dribble down the line. He could do so much with the tools he has.
Do you remember his World Cup final performance?
Oh
God. Hall of Shamer.
Do you know what I mean?
It's horrendous.
Do you know what's
That's
funny?
what I'm talking about.
Do you know what's funny is that, like, when I'm watching wingers like Dembele, or even if it's like those wingers in the Premier League, whether it's like a Hudson-Odoi or somebody like that who's just got bags of potential, loads of flair, but it's like, why isn't it clicking? But when I'm watching those types of wingers, it just emphasizes the point to me that decision making is maybe the most important like characteristic that a winger needs. Because like when you're looking, not to like be like very Arsenal biased, but somebody like Salah or like Saka or somebody like that, the reason why they're actually so good is because they just have consistent decision making all the time. Like it's the number one thing. You can have all the pace, all the dribbling, but if you don't have decision making
of when it's right, how to combine with players,
it's worth nothing.
No, I think that's a good point. Cool. Quickly, guys, let's finish up the show. So. That's a shout.
Now you reached deep in the bag for this one. You reached deep.
When he said Dembele, it came to me straight away.
I saw the lights go on still.
This guy should be an elite footballer. Like, his technical ability is out of this world. Literally out of this world. There's some things he could do on the ball which 99% of footballers couldn't dream of. But it just never clicks. At Tottenham, it didn't click. At Napoli, it didn't click. It's like, and his career's kind of just going downhill. Obviously, the reason behind this is probably fitness. He's not very fit. He doesn't apply himself defensively at all. But this guy should be a generational player.
He should be a top player. I feel like I don't feel like naturally he's actually the fittest player. But I also don't feel like he puts it, from what his coaches say, apparently he puts in no effort to do so either. And apparently his diet kind of is. Have you kind of seen him at Galatasaray? He's putting a little bit of weight. You know?
It's quite sad actually. Someone go down that path. The
ability he had was crazy. I don't know if you've seen some of like the training clips of the type of stuff he can do with the ball, but it's
he's a magician with the ball.
Magician, and even some of the stuff you see him doing games. Yeah, he's actually got good end product as well. Like he can shoot, pass. Happens sometimes. All right, Lesh, final one.
I got two.
Okay.
And they're the same type of player for me in the sense that these are like, they're two foot attacking players and they have bags of potential and they could both potentially be like the top three in their positions in the world currently, but something's just missing. And that's Coman and Felix. When I look at both of them,
Coman, that's interesting.
Coman.
When I look at Coman, in terms of like his dribbling ability and his 1v1 ability, he's always been able to like cut in and shoot. Like even from when he was like a youth prospect.
Coman's a Willian to me.
Interesting, but these two in particular, like him and João Felix, like they were kind of like star boys when they first came through. They had bags of potential, and it's just not clicked. And they should be the top three or something, but it's just not happened. I don't know.
Coman's an interesting one because he's one that doesn't really get much heat.
I think he's a sidekick, and he knows that.
Yeah, but when you actually think about how good Coman was when he was young, and he's like what 28 now, 27, he probably should.
He's won a trophy every single season he's played football.
Yeah, he's been very successful, but and I think he's just kind of taken that role. But the youth.
And there was a season in the Champions League he did shine, no?
He scored a winner.
He did. Yeah. Oh, well, maybe. He's had a pretty good career, to be honest.
Like he's not going to end his career and think, "Oh, I've had a shit." No,
he's not. But as in terms of like maybe, are you saying you think Coman could have been like
could have been one of the best wingers in the world? Like he should be up there. At the moment, if I say to you like,
But he has a consistent level that he doesn't really drop beyond. Like if you put Coman on the pitch, you know what he's gonna do, and most times he does it. I just don't think he has the ability to go above and beyond. Yeah.
It's a good counters.
I feel like he's always had the potential to like go up the level. He just doesn't do it, and it doesn't make sense why he doesn't do it. Because it's not like he's clearly lacking something. When you look at some wingers and it's like, he clearly like he's not agile. He hasn't got the best dribbling or something like that. With Coman, I look at him and I'm like, there's nothing missing here. So it should work for you to be one of the world's best, but it doesn't happen.
What I think it is, I think the level that Coman displays, he's been displaying for quite a long time, even when he was really young. And obviously, when you're young, you're displaying this quality of level. It's like, oh my God, this is going to be a next. He's going to continue to progress, but he's just kind of stayed at that level. And I feel like it's more of a mentality thing. He hasn't got that mentality to be like, okay, I want to be that guy. So we don't see that as much. That's probably why he hasn't reached the heights that maybe some people were expecting him to go to.
Fair enough.
Felix, I agree with though.
Why is Felix not managed to sort of really put it all together, even though he seems to have all the attributes?
Don't know. That's another one where I'm like, he's got it all, but it just doesn't work.
That talent is
ridiculous.
Like,
Why as a Chelsea fan, you like?
I think there's bags of talent in this, and I feel like he is capable of actually showing this talent and on the pitch, and he could do it consistently. I don't feel like both at Chelsea, similarly at Barcelona and at Atletico Madrid, he hasn't been in the right environment.
You're gonna keep on going environment. To be fair, those are some pretty awful environments.
Literally, and
for him, but
and even his life outside of football is not a bit chaotic as well.
Oh, okay. What's going on there?
With his girl and the other player and Pedro Porro and all that stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So you just think it's just an environment thing?
Yeah.
But I think modern day football isn't suited to his type of player anyway. Like
Interesting.
Number 10, like he is the definition of a number 10 for me.
No, not for me.
He's just a second striker, no?
Yeah.
That sort of like roaming, floating sort of in behind the striker. Could he play false nine? I don't think he could play that.
You'd like to think he could, which is maybe part of the problem, but he can't.
Nah, he's off the striker.
Old school Liverpool, he could play false nine. He could do Firmino's role.
I don't think he could do the off the ball work.
He doesn't, because Firmino's role does like involve getting bashed a bit around by centre backs. He don't want none of that. He don't want that. He's an off the striker player.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Anyway, guys, got to round up the show. It's getting late tonight. Like, subscribe, and all that lovely stuff. Thank you for tuning into the Rondo once again. We'll be back again next week, as always. Love to all.